Hello, everyone, and thank you so much, Pravina, for having invited me to this quick talk. And I think most importantly, the initiative to share ideas is something that I really appreciate. So today I'm going to introduce the concept of the intervention of artificial intelligence into English language learning. But before that, a quick heads up on who I am. I'm Padhmavathi and I'm from Bangalore. I have been teaching English language and literature for almost 12 years now. And I am extremely happy to have gotten this opportunity. So let's get started without any further ado. To begin with, I am going to quickly start with one of the most recent incident that happened with a child in the class during my class. And what it was basically, I had given the child an assignment to finish. And the next day, very surprisingly, the child came back with all the tasks perfectly done. But as a teacher, I was able to clearly understand that though he had written it all with his own hands, pen, and paper, I knew the words, the thoughts weren't his own. So that's when I think it was a wake up call for me as a teacher to understand the need and the betterment of reformation that we need to bring into the education system, especially in terms of probing and leading questions that we lend to our children. So, what I understood clearly was he had copied it from some internet resource, and also it was very well structured, nicely framed. But when asked few counter questions on the same assignment the child had actually completed, he stumbled a little, but was certainly smart enough to get the answers rolling for most of the questions that I answered. So, this is exactly what I mean by infinite ideas and human voice. Well, I would like to quote Mr. Robert Greene while he says, "You were born with the greatest weapon in all of nature, the power of rational thinking and conscious mind." So, the art of being relevant in a digital world, the art of making significant changes to the teaching strategies is certainly going to help children evolve over the period of time and also assist them and make them better learners and great achievers in the days to come. So if this is a very questionable thought, while we listen to children these days, are they speaking on their own? Is it their real voice that we get to hear? Are they borrowed answers all the time? Are they just, the echo of machine that we get to listen to? Well, I would say that borrowing thoughts, preparing your speech from external resource, taking guidance, and improvising on the ideas and thought process has existed from time immemorial. We have all had the practice of collecting our information from different resources. So if it was, let's imagine, two generation back, maybe our parents rushed to the library to jot down some important things to prepare their homeworks. Then came the internet era where everything was made comfortable, easy, and ready made for the children to use. And just when we thought, can there be anything else more, powerful than the internet, we are now exposed to the AI generation, which is thinking in itself that their process of thought itself is curbed. However, as an educator, I feel we always use technology with human face, and it is important for us to go in line with the modern evolving changes in our education system because there is no way back and there is no chance or there is no medium for us to get back to the older ways and methods of teaching, but certainly there is a chance to evolve in the existing methodologies of our teaching and learning. So, quickly taking you all through and diving you into the biggest question of what education does to us really. So, the very first thing a child must prepare themselves for the real world is the art of reasoning and asking questions. And that, I believe, can never be taken away by the AI as well, because it is us, the human, who gives them the prompt and subsequently just take support as the medium of taking support, gaining information from multiple resources has just become easier. So we will have to bring in this make believe into children, make them and give them more chances in classroom environment and also in other learning setups to express their thoughts with confidence, and tell them that it's not only the responses that they get from AI is going to be relevant and right all the time, but it is for them also to reciprocate and understand, rethink, and put them forth in the right way, and then bundle it all up and come in with their original ideas and share their thought process. And that's where all the changes and that's where all the difference is going to evolve. So, the most important thing that I want to address today is the relevance of staying human in a digital world. So, as I have been traveling with literature, Sushmakar once says, we have already sailed half the ocean, and it is impossible for us to return back to the chalk and talk methodologies of teaching and learning in the present generation. And it is impeccably possible for teachers to bring this newer changes and advancement into their teaching strategies. And I think I have been telling it over and over again for almost 5 minutes since I started my speech of the impact that we need to create. But how is again the question that we need to answer. Well, AI is a tool that we are going to certainly use, but it is for teacher to start giving them a guided practice in their live class with their children. And even the homeworks that's given to children must certainly have the inclusion of AI. We should not make them believe that they are copying answers, but rather make use of the artificial intelligence to in turn uh, use and make their reflection and ideas better. So, this is the very first thing, and we will have to certainly bring in a thinking routine in children while we are creating certain human led language labs with the intervention of the artificial intelligence, and also engage them in some real talks and make them understand the real purpose and the usage of artificial intelligence in the modern world. So, one thing and one suggestion that I would like to make for academician is to start giving them a thinking routine. Okay, so I'm going to make a chart from Monday till Friday where the children note down their different means and their different methods of using AI into their day to day life and day to day activity. And they also make note of certain important pointers where they certainly say that, okay, AI was probably not able to help me here, or I think my thought was much more better. And they can also involve and engage in some friendly conversations with the artificial intelligence. And that is something that is going to improve their language from the perspective of having an active, interactive partner. And so, building a thinking routine is the first suggestion that I'm going to give to all the educators. And because it is the digital world, it is certainly, I believe, the survival of the smartest that is going to sustain and going to prevail in the longer run. And this is because the lifestyle and the ways of learning, the ways of teaching has evolved over the time. And it is for us to introduce children to different learning platforms. And I am very, very sure if I ask this question to all of you watching, I would say that there shouldn't be even a single person who has not used ChatGPT for once at least. There are definitely 100% chances that even we as educators use ChatGPT or any other AI resource to support, to complement our thought process, and to make our jobs easier, and which indeed and in turn is not a wrong thing at all. So now I introduce to you certain platforms that's going to be certainly AI integrated, and it is most importantly going to be beneficial for young learners who are in the beginner stages of language learning. The first of which is the Google Read Along. The Google Read Along is available in multi language and it is multilingual. There are chances that the child can also get access without proper internet connection. They can just download certain features available in the Google Read Aloud app, which is in turn going to help them improve their proficiency in terms of their pronunciation, their fluency, and it's going to be apt for children between the ages and grades 1 to 5. Children who struggle to learn and to read and recognize sounds, this is going to be a great tool. I'm sure every child is now exposed to some amount of screen time, watches reels, and we belong to the 30 seconds or rather 60-second generation where we want everything spoon fed and in a gamified way. So it is again a very conscious step towards the positive and the useful screen time that we give to the children while they are still learning something. And I believe that even schools should start recommending these platforms as a small task for the child to finish every week. Week on week, there should be a reading target the child is assigned to, and there must be a proper channel where children get the opportunity to even read and perform in front of their other classmates to improve their confidence. So, Google Read Along is a wonderful tool for young learners who wish to improve on their reading. The next is the Cambridge Speak and Improve. I would like to give a sneak and peek into how the Cambridge Speak and Improve works. This is also AI integrated platform in itself, and all that we have to do is choose the kind of activity that you want to use and just get head started. So there are going to be opportunities where we have read aloud, answering questions that is again featured by AI. So responses are going to be taken from your end, and in turn you are also going to get feedback for all of the answers that's given. So, most importantly, I think the most and the important usage of technology evolves the moment when we start using with the right tool. So, Cambridge Speak and Improve is a wonderful tool again for children between the age of 8 to 16 or even 18-year-olds who are willing to get themselves better in terms of the LSRW, listening, speaking, reading, and writing elements of the language, where each of the skill of the child is tested and also prompt feedbacks are given. So these are just additional tools apart from the real time feedback that the teacher is going to provide. And we also have the British Council's Learn English. This also is a read along. And this has a premium version as well, but there are plenty of freely accessible resources as well in the British Council's Learn English resource for young English learners. This again is AI integrated and is going to help children improve their fluency, improve their vocabulary, and also several aspects when it comes to language learning. So, children do get on to the search engine and type things randomly without the proper direction or the right tool that they are supposed to use in order to elicit answers. So, my major point of discussion today is to give them the right tool to get to the right spot and to bring in the right kind of development that we are all looking out for. No doubt, children are very smart these days, and with the intervention of technology, things are going to make them smarter. So I have heard a lot of people say that the thinking ability of children is going to get down with the advancement of technology. They're all being spoon fed with a lot of information having given to them ready made. So again, reiterating on the point of discussion that I started my talk with is to bring in the relevance of human existence and human thought process with the modern advancement in technology is the right way and the right direction that we should all move forward with. So to quickly give my final round of thought on this particular topic is we should tell children that we are not thinking and giving them a task to get something spontaneously. ChatGPT or any other AI resource is not for them to elicit and bring answers at a short and a fast pace, but is rather for them to evolve and to probe questions and to become better with the intervention of it. So that is going to be my final and the last part of the discussion, where we build a small questioning school. We give children the opportunity to ask the right question. We must build a questioning school amongst children, and teachers must guide them of the different prompts they could be giving to the AI that is going to bring them wonderful solutions. We also introduce them to the different platforms I had already mentioned, which is going to improve their English manifold, as the only shortage of the development of language and skill in children is the lack of practice. Unlike any other subject, which is going to involve and have a lot of intervention of memory, fact based learning, languages are skill based and is going to come into the child only and only with practice. So we build them into a environment where they take a moment to pause, think, question, and finally speak with all of those collated thoughts. And making use of AI in different perspectives. When we look at the child's psychological perspective, probing question helps children feel heard. They are also going to build deeper thinking and respond confidently the next time without fear because they have things that they could talk about. Even when we look at it from the cultural perspective with the evolving times, I think thoughtful questioning about a lot of meaningful things and a lot of homeworks that the child is going to bring after every single time is being assigned to them is going to connect them to the ideology of the society, the community, the language, and the real life experiences they have. And most important of all is the social perspective. Building a language skill is certainly the most important skill that one must have in their human existence because that is significantly the most important thing that differentiates us from the other animals. So, how we guide them to question and how we guide them to use the artificial intelligence as the right means and the method to provoke and also to elevate and enhance their performance is the only single point of discussion that I've had and made in today's entire discussion that we have had. Let's not think AI as an overpowering and overpowering our human thoughts, but just as an empowering tool that's going to help us get better with time. So, last but not the least, every child's learning must not be curbed with the intervention and the advancement, no matter what happens in the future, and make them understand that they are just more than the answers that they give. So it is completely all about the child's understanding, the child's interpretation, the child's perspective of different thoughts, and their practice that they're going to have with the intervention of AI, which is going to make them better. Thank you so much, Pravina, once again for giving me this opportunity. I think I am pretty much done from my end. If there are any questions, I think I would like to pick that up.
Thank you so much, Ms. Padmavati. If you can stop sharing your screen, ma'am, audience can have a better view of you, please. Thank you. Ms. Deepika Madhivanan, she mentioned that brilliant delivery and clarity at its peak. Great work, ma'am. So, want to say anything to Ms. Deepika?
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ms. Deepika. It is my pleasure to have you in this talk. And I think, sometimes it's just important for us to put the right encouragement, just as we do to our children as well, that motivates us to do better and keep going. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Means a lot.
Ms.
Thank you, ma'am. It was a great presentation, and it was so good to have inputs like this. Thank you.
Ms. Deepika, any questions from your end?
Not really, ma'am. It was a very good presentation, and it's so much good to have teacher-student relationship in a modern world, and it's a great input for the teachers. Thank you, ma'am.
Great. So, ma'am, Ms. Padmavati, I have a couple of questions to ask you based on the summary of this talk, as I mentioned before. So, what specific signs helped identify the students' work as not original?
Certainly, as educators, we know the competency of the child's language with the grade that they are in their school. And obviously, with the use of advanced vocabulary, the sentence structure, and also certain details, which is certainly going to not come to them unless they take some resources, not necessarily AI, but some kind of an external tool for them to support. However, we know when it is machine written and we know when it's human written. And, I think the school of plagiarism has played a vital role since ages now. And as English teachers, particularly, we have we have the habit of pointing out mistakes so very easily. So, finding out originality in children's speech has become a little rare. But it is for us to very consciously tell them, guide them, ask them to use AI to make their answers better and to bring them, into the conclusion and evolve with it is going to be the right direction, moving forward. I hope I answered your question.
Yes, please.
Yes.
So, ma'am, you mentioned about the thinking routine, right? So, what age group benefits most from this thinking routine?
Every age group is going to certainly benefit with thinking routine because, most importantly, one thought and one process that we begin for children, especially school going children, is going to help them evolve over the period of time when they constantly and are very consistent following it. I would say having a thinking routine for really young children is going to be a great idea. When I say young children, let's start from the age of six, first graders up till I think eighth grader, because after that I think their routine also gets a little difficult. After grade nine, children are into a lot of studies, but while they are still in their primary and secondary, they can still work on building their skills, and that's exactly where they test and make a chart where they include their intervention and their interaction with the different tools that they had used throughout the week. So, as teachers, we can also give them the different platforms, as I mentioned in the talk today, and they can interact in a fun way. And it's also all gamified, which is going to interest them. So, that is going to certainly build confidence in the child to express themselves in the language in the first place. And most importantly, also, they are going to get better in their overall English language competency.
Mhm. So, ma'am, you mentioned about this AI usage chart, right? Monday to Friday. So, how should teachers assess this method?
So in class, we can promote and we can probably, just like how we send a diary to children about work done and the things that they can carry forward to be done in that particular week. Every week, we assign an artificial intelligence tool that the child is going to research. And because this is something new, children would most likely be very interested to explore them. And while they explore, they don't just explore, but eventually end up also learning things from it. So we will have to, use these tools, the read along tools, the Cambridge Test and Speak tool, the British Councils, and all of these are AI integrated indeed. So children must not only rely on ChatGPT, which is certainly a best AI tool. Even in ChatGPT, children can start initiating conversations with AI and maybe also get their English language corrected in the process, maybe get their sentence structured in a much better way. So we as teachers must assign them, okay, Monday we're going to use the read along and read one story or one chapter of the story before we come into the next class. And subsequently, every class, the teacher must assign a task for the child to finish. And that's certainly going to bring an impact in the long run.
Right, ma'am. So, parents, right? What role should parents play in monitoring AI usage at home? I know it's a little difficult as a parent, I know that, but
Yes, I think screen time and avoiding screen time for children has become nearly impossible in the modern era, right? And we will first have to make parents aware of the fact of what kind of usage the child is making while they are interacting to a digital resource, let it be a tab, a laptop, a phone. It makes a lot of difference while the parents are aware and still know that their child is still learning something and not just scrolling on some random reel. Because most of the parents, the moment they see their children with a mobile phone or a digital gadget, they think it's a waste of time. So for them to bring in the awareness is the most important thing to get head started with. But yes, additionally, over and above that, eventually when they start seeing the results coming up from children, because young children have great receptive powers, and when exposed to the right AI tool with the right practice for an extended time, results are going to be very natural and evident. So that itself is going to be a win-win situation for academicians, for us, like us. And I think even schools must conduct webinars and initiate talks from guest speakers to bring in such interventions and to collaborate with different AI tools available for the students to use readily and to, make themselves better with it.
thank you, ma'am. Thank you for the detailed explanation. So, can you share some prompting strategies help students think beyond AI responses?
Sure. So, the most important thing is the role of the teacher. As I already said, though if you feel that the child has taken some amount of help from AI and has answered a particular question, it is leading and probing questions to the information that they have gotten is going to lead to deeper thinking into themselves. So, the homeworks that we provide, the tasks and activity that we provide, must certainly include some kind of intervention of AI. However, it must be a cumulative effort of the child to bring the final output of the answer that they're going to get. So, certain open ended questions that can help them think on their own, story building, and the art of reflective thinking, and building a club, as I said. There should be a language lab that every school must take as an initiative to bring in humble, gentle conversations amongst children on different topics, which is relevant to the modern learnings, modern ways and methods of learning. And we also must first collect and understand the perspectives from the children's end of how they use. Is it just random prompting to the AI and getting answers, or do they actually research and bring in real solutions to the assignments and the problem or the project given to them? We must guide them to first think on their own for the first solution that they can get to complete the task given to them, and take AI as in support only to make their work better. So that's the way forward.
Right. You mentioned about teachers using AI, right? Everybody in one stage of life, we all use that.
We all, yes.
How can teachers balance AI tool usage with traditional assessment methods?
Sure. So I think teachers must also evolve with the change in time. Traditional evolve, all the traditional methods are no doubt the best way to evaluate the child's performance, right? There's no doubt about it. Having said that, with the intervention of AI, I think with a large group size, it has just become easier for the teacher to make her job more calculated and documented. And the checking and all of the assessment in terms of the correctness and the promptness in the child's answer is still going to be in the teacher's hand itself, because we do not want children to think like machines, and we do not expect answers to come very automated from their end. At the same time, I believe even as academicians and educators, we must in turn also keep our, let's say, evaluating methods a little natural, but use the different technological tools to guide us and support us to manage the operational front of the teaching learning process, and not the evaluating step itself.
Right, ma'am. So reading is most important thing in a student's life, like it builds vocabulary, confidence, everything. So what is the recommended weekly reading target for students?
Right. It will also differ and vary, when it comes to different age groups. The very first thing that I would recommend for really young and beginners of the language learners, let's say, who have just done their upper kindergarten and they're just trying to read a couple of words, the very first books or the very first AI tool that they can use is the Google AI read along that I mentioned already. So these are going to also read with the children, and also there are facility for the child to also listen to the story if required in their native language as well. So some kind of a guided practice to begin with is going to help really young children. And there are a lot of online reading platform like epic.com. And in addition to this, there are a lot of digital tools as well. But a real book is going to be a better solution even in the AI generation, is what I believe. But certainly, getting age appropriate books is going to be a great catch. So there are lots and lots of books that's available in the market. I'm not going to recommend any few because every child's interest might be different. So the children who are just getting to start reading can use the read along to help them and support them. And for older children who feel difficult to sit and read, because children do not really have the patience to read these days, so they can also listen to audiobooks, which is still going to help them better themselves in the language, because you're ultimately listening to new vocabulary, you're trying to comprehend the story, you are engaging with building your skills in the language. So that's still going to be beneficial for them, though you are a little lazy to read it on your own. So if they are interested in science fiction, if they're interested in you know, let's say a very easy and, let's say easy and funny comic. They can start with anything that interests them. A few recommendations that I would give is there's a book called as The Pet Slime. So that's a very easy read for children to get head started with who are in, let's say, grade 4, 5. There are multiple books available. We have Diary of the Wimpy Kid, which is very funny at the same time comic in it's a comic version. We have Scooby Doo comic in itself, and for older children I think we can also do the Unicorn Island, if you are a person who would like to read books of adventure, explore different things, and to name books, there are plenty out there. But it is absolutely going to depend on the type of book the child wants to read. So individual differences are certainly going to be there, and every child will have their own interest of what they want to read. But we'll just have to get them head started with the practice of reading. And reading, if it's difficult, listening also is going to help, is what I'm going to say to the present generation. And there are multiple tools, as I've already mentioned, to help them get into the art and the practice of reading, listening, understanding, and finally expressing in the language.
Wonderful explanation, ma'am. We have one more guest here, Miss Preeti. Miss Preeti, if you have any questions, you can unmute yourself and ask, ma'am. Or if you want to put it in the chat box also, you can do that. Okay. So, because of the time constraint, Ms. Padmavati, I'll ask one more question and end the meeting. How does AI affect students with the reading and learning difficulties specifically?
Okay, that's a wonderful question indeed. Thinking about children, it's certainly important for us to accommodate the ones with, learning impairments, and the most, let's say, important difficulty that we will have to look for as a teacher to accommodate in these children is for them to identify what exactly the problem of the child is. And when it is a group class, when it is a classroom setup, I'm very sure there are a lot of children and it becomes quite difficult for the teacher to pay individual attention. Giving them, of course, a continuous, and consistent an extended reading practice with AI is going to help them. And the first thing these children, especially the students with learning impairments, especially when it comes to recognizing letters or maybe having problem in understanding the way of reading, special and guided support with AI is going to help. This must happen even beyond classroom setup, and here we might also need the intervention of the child's parent to give them a little more extra support to get head started into the journey, because these children are also great learners. It's just that they're going to take longer time and just going to get there while they have the right amount of support and let's say guidance that they have into this process. Particularly for special education, we have lots of AI tools again, which is going to guide and support them, especially for children who stammer. A lot of students have the problem of stammering when they speak in the language or while they're reading. One drill that we can easily do in an English class is to get head started with the basics. When I say basics, okay, give them uh, you know, uh, uh, a tongue twister and ask them to practice it over. And that's going to help the child better their reading while they stop stammering, I wouldn't say, but significantly get better with it with time. And other impairments would include a lot of difficulties when it comes to spellings. When we look and correct answer sheets, the most important problem that children have in the present days, because we all belong to the WhatsApp university, as we call ourselves, or the Instagram university. And we are also used to the text language, short forms, shortcuts, and Gen Z slangs, whatnot. So the conventional English has somewhere lost its roots of originality. So syllabification, giving them the right phonetic connotation, giving them the proper guidance to understand the sounds of the sounds of the letters, to bring into the right spelling, is also going to help children. So these are the two important problem statement that could be existing, especially when it comes to language learning. And with time, I think they'll also do wonders, no doubt.
Great, ma'am. Thank you so much, Ms. Padmavati Hariharan, for that insightful and thought-provoking presentation. We truly appreciate you sharing your expertise on our platform today, ma'am. I would also like to thank all our participants for joining us and for your engaging time. Before I end the session, ma'am, anything else you want to mention on our platform?
Nothing else. I think it was really insightful and empowering for me as well. Because though I spoke about a lot of AI platform, the moment I got to know I was going to present, I undoubtedly took the help of the AI to enhance and to look out for the better solution that we could provide for children. Modern development is only for betterment and not to curb the art of thinking. Let's be original even in the digital world, I think, is going to be my closing line. So thank you so much, Ms. Praveena, once again for this wonderful opportunity.
My pleasure, ma'am, and sorry for the inconvenience caused and for the delay. I'll end the session now.